Delta0125 here again for YouTube. I figured while I had my ammo out here on the table, I'd make a point about hunting rounds and whatnot. All these preppers and everyone buying the ammo is kind of pissing me off because you can hardly find 22 long rifle anymore. But however, up here in Alaska, what we use for small game currently is 25 auto, 22 long rifle, 22 magnum. 32 is actually kind of rare to find, you know, someone using that in the field, but I do for rabbits and things, with full metal jackets, of course. 357 magnums you can use on deer, moose, bear. Although bear, it's kind of a, you know, you want a bigger caliber if you can get it. 38 special, you don't want to have to use that on, you know, any game, particularly because it's a lot weaker than 357 magnum, but not by too much. But if it's, you know, all you got, you might as well use it in defensive situation. We've got 9mm back there. Don't really use that for any game up here. 30-06, however, which is that back right box back there. Use that for moose, bear, deer, any of the game that's deer-sized and larger. Although my grandfather tells me he shot a couple rabbits with them and it doesn't actually blow them up. It, of course, he uses full metal jackets. Anyways, he says it doesn't blow them up, but it goes straight through them, which I call BS on. But he says it's true and he swears by it. But nevertheless, I'm not going hunting with a 30-06 for rabbit. Anyways, like I said though, 22 hollow points or full metal jackets or whatever you can get, you know, small game. And that's the reason I'm stocking up, is because people are always buying it whenever I'm not. And then you can never find it when you need it. So that's going into storage, all that 22 ammo that you see from here over in this one section is all going into storage. That's, see, 500, 1,000, around 1,500 rounds, I'd say, maybe a little less than that. So it's not too much 22 ammo, but it'll work for small game. Anyways, we got, I can't really see it because of the sun, but buckshot 20 gauge. You can actually use that for moose, which you might have to hit it once or twice, maybe 3 times at most, if you're a bad shot. But most of the time you can hit them with just one shell and drop them. Same thing with a deer. Bear, you don't want to have to use a 20 gauge buckshot round on, but if it's all you got, you might as well use it, you know. Better safe than sorry. And you got number 4 shot here, which is actually good for grouse and ptarmigan, that sort of thing. Turkey, if you ever find them, but we never have any turkey up here unless it's on a farm. Of course, turkey you want to use a BB shot or something like that for. Anyways, number 6 shot, next best to number 4 shot for, you can see that, number 4 shot. Talking about this fast lead Kent load. Anyways, it's the next best thing you can use against grouse and ptarmigan, squirrel, that sort of thing. Even rabbit you can actually use the small pellets on, but you don't want to do that because you'll be digging pellets out of the meat later on when you go to clean it. Whereas birds, they usually go just straight through them at like 100 feet or less. But when you shoot a bird with a shotgun, you're usually shooting at them about a football field or less. But that's a little bit, you know, long for a shotgun with shot. Anyways, especially that tiny. Moving on here, we got 12 gauge double-aught buck. Like I said, that's typically what we use against bear up here. Usually a 3-inch magnum, though. Other than that, you can use it on deer, moose, caribou, that sort of thing. Now this one, this is actually what you should be using on nothing but the largest game up here, such as bison or buffalo, as it's called in the North 38. Anyways, bison, muskox, deer I wouldn't even recommend because it destroy most of the meat probably. But moose, caribou maybe, but that's if you have nothing else to use on it. And definitely for bear, this is a 10 gauge 3.5-inch Magnum slug. And I don't really have anything around here for size comparison. But basically the slug is about the size of, I'd say about the size of a nickel or almost a quarter around. A little bit bigger than a 12 gauge slug. But like I said, that's, you know, what you'd want to use on bear typically. So those are definitely going in my safe for, or my gun cabinet I should say, for, you know, whenever I get 10 gauge. And 45 auto you got here, that's typically more of a self-defense round, just like the 9mm, than a hunting round. Starfire 45 auto rounds, they look like the Black Talons, but they're more, well, actually more like the Winchester Rangers with a Black Talon mixed in, but more of Starfire's kind of, or PMC's kind of a spin on it. As a matter of fact, I'll pull one of those out real quick and show you the difference in these. So, if you look, almost like a Winchester Ranger round, but they got their own little spin on it. There's little minor differences, but it's basically the same thing. And then you've got your 45 auto ball hollow points, or not hollow points, sorry, 45 auto ball rounds down here, the Full Metal Jacket rounds. Those, you can't really hunt much with a 45 auto, just like a 9mm, and especially not a 380. But, well, 380 you can use on small game, but 9mm and 45 auto you don't really use up here for small game, same as 40 Smith & Wesson, but you can, however, if an animal's been hit with it, use on, you know, the animal to euthanize them humanely, if you will, instead of letting them, you know, suffer. But anyways, can't really use them up here for much at all, except for maybe deer, but that's, you know, you'd have to bring that up with Fish and Game if you want to use it for that. .308 Winchester, good for anything from, you know, deer on up to bear. Bear would be the last thing I'd hunt with it, though, and that'd be more of a headshot or like perfect vital shot, straight through the lungs and heart. But moving on, more 9mm rounds. Like I said, though, 25 auto, small game. So anyways, that's been kind of an explanation what kind of hunting rounds we use up here. But yeah, I just thought I'd make that point, and I'll see you guys next video. If you got any questions or comments, leave them below. Delta 0125, signing out.